If I'm thinking about seesaws, I want to say up is better because I always want to say up is better. But in reality, on a seesaw, if you're up, you're the one not in control. And I like being in control. So if you're down, you've got legs on the ground. You can bail if you want. Down. On a seesaw, down is better. Hi, I'm Lacey J. I'm an entrepreneur who started a social media agency at age 22. Weird, I know. I've been niching it down and building it up over the last 11 years, and a long 11 years they have been. Being on social media so much is hard on my and my team's mental health, so we work to find routines, balance, and focus on ethics that keep us showing up authentically online. If you manage social media accounts and you feel confused, unfocused, or straight up wackadoo, welcome to the club. We meet here once a week. Hello, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. It is the first week of May. May I welcome you here to the first week of May. I'm so happy. I love when we get closer to summer. When we are here in the first week of May, what we are doing is we are thinking about June, okay? It's time to start content planning for June, thinking about what kind of posts we want to do, what kind of themes we want to have, what's going to happen in June. So, first of all, I just want to say June is the best month. June is my favorite month. It is the best month. It is the month of my birthday. And so I like June the most. Maybe you do too. It's so sunshiny, beginning of summer. Let's go through some of the national months, days, holidays, etc., so that you can get your content plan ready. First thing I want to talk about is Pride Month. June is Pride Month. Sometimes I get nervous talking about monthly observations because I just want to make sure that I get my words right, and I know that I won't. So forgive me ahead of time and educate me if there are things that I need to be educated on. First thing I want to think about when we're thinking about Pride Month is there's a pretty nasty habit right now of companies having very shallow surface level recognition of this month by what? You know what they do. They put a rainbow over their profile picture and post it up all month and think now they're celebrating Pride Month. It's so shallow. There's no depth to it whatsoever. So if you have a company whose values are very focused on inclusivity, this might be a good holiday, a good month for you to spend a lot of time focusing on Pride Month. If your company values do not include inclusivity, and if it would not be normal to your audience to get content that honors Pride Month, maybe you choose to sit out. We always talk about the idea of instead of creating your own content, you can think about amplifying content from creators who are more aligned with this holiday or this monthly observance. Maybe even more important than that is these are the type of months that we do more than we say, okay? Do something in real life to honor this. Maybe you are sponsoring an event for Pride Month, and you can be on site there and then get some content while you're there, but do more than you say about it on social media so that you're doing something with depth, so that you're really making some sort of a difference instead of just a shallow statement that you're putting up on social media. That will come across shallow, your audience won't understand why you're posting about it, and it won't be good for your long-term strategy. Okay, let's roll into the national days. So there's tons of national days. I left so many out, but I took some of my favorites to put here for you. June 3rd is National Donut Day. So maybe you bring donuts to your staff and you take pictures of them and you put them up. One time I did a National Donut Day campaign where we put up a question on social media for an insurance agency, and anybody who answered the question got a free dozen donuts that they had to come into the office and pick up that dozen donuts. Nice way to take an online conversation and move it into an in-person conversation, which sometimes can be a struggle with marketing and social media. So that's June 3rd. June 4th is National Cheese Day, and you all know that I think that everything is a vessel to put cheese into my mouth, and so how could I not talk about National Cheese Day? June 4th, get some cheese. June 5th, National Cancer Survivors Day. Okay, this is one that isn't widely celebrated, but perhaps if there's somebody in your business or an employee or a partner or a vendor who is a cancer survivor, maybe we choose to have this be a bit more of a personal post and honor it that way. June 10th, this one I threw in here because I'm like, who made this up? Okay. National Ballpoint Pen Day. That's a thing. Why do ballpoint pens need a day? And what day is Pencil Day? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. There's so many of these. When I go through this and prepare these, I leave so many out. I just had to show you how ridiculous they are as I'm sifting through them. Okay. June 12th is National Children's Day. Okay, I didn't know that there even really was a national, how do we celebrate this? We celebrate Mother's Day, we celebrate Father's Day, but there's also a Children's Day. Isn't every day Children's Day? They just don't work and I feed them every day? I don't know. I'm sure there's more seriousness to it. I will talk to my counselor about my problems. June 19th, two big things happening on June 19th. One is Father's Day. If you remember, we talked last month about Mother's Day. And the idea that Mother's Day, Father's Day, these days can be kind of sensitive, honestly. People who maybe want to be parents, people who maybe have children who have passed away, people who maybe have bad relationships with their parents. So this isn't just it's Father's Day, let's do a Father's Day post anymore. It's important that you really consider your brand values, your audience, what they expect of you, what they're going to be honoring or not honoring, and do it intentionally. No matter what you choose to do, it's going to be fine, but do it intentionally. The other day is Juneteenth. June 19th is Juneteenth. So I'm going to go into just a little bit of the history if you don't understand what Juneteenth is, and then we can talk about what you might choose to do with your brand. So Juneteenth honors the end of slavery. On June 19th in 1865, which mind you was 157 years ago, that's all, is when Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas to announce the end of the Civil War. So basically it was like a celebration, and Galveston, Texas was one of the last places to hear about the Civil War ending. So it's this celebration of finding out that the Civil War is ending, which in theory meant that slaves were free, okay? It actually wasn't until December of that year that the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery was ratified. And as we know, that doesn't just mean that that day everything was perfect from then on out. Obviously it wasn't. So let's talk for a second about what you're going to do with your content for Juneteenth, okay? If you are not Black, we're not going to center ourselves in this conversation, okay? If you're going to be creating any content around the holiday, again, I just want you to maybe amplify an organization that's already creating good content that really represents the community that this holiday is the most focused towards. The most important thing for a creator is making sure that you are staying in your lane in a way that is respectful and honoring the reality of what a national day, a holiday is for. Do not center yourself in these conversations, or just don't, there isn't an or, just don't do it. It's not the right thing to do. Again, I'm feeling a little hot and nervous because I want to say all these things right, and I don't know exactly the right way to say them, but it's important that we're very mindful about the kind of content that we're creating around holidays that are important to specific cultures. The last few holidays in June include June 21st, which is the summer solstice. That's probably my birthday's June 22nd. I often say that my birthday is summer solstice because it's that close. I like the idea that I'm born on the longest day of the year, the brightest, most sunshiniest day of the year. So summer solstice, maybe you choose to create some content around summer solstice. It's going to be warm. It's going to be pretty. That's why June is so wonderful. The last one in June is June 30th, and it's Social Media Day. Oh my gosh, we have a day. This is exciting. I always like to take things to a deep level, so what are we going to do? Celebrate superficially on Social Media Day? Yay for Facebook existing? I don't know. If it were me on Social Media Day, I would spend that time to talk about the kind of things that are things that we can improve upon. How can we make social media better for everybody? How can we improve our relationship with social media? How can we best utilize social media in a way that brings businesses up altogether? So maybe we can celebrate that. It'll be fun. Now, there are some general themes in June that I want you to be aware of too. School is out. And so for a lot of people, that changes how their life setup is. Their kids are home from school. Maybe they're going to be going on vacations. There's outside of just school being out, there's camping trips that are going to be happening. People are going to be spending time outside. We're going to be boating. We're going to be doing outside sports. So when you're thinking about the content that you're putting out, you're going to need to adjust your visuals to be more outside. Sports, there's not a ton of sports happening in June. US Open and Wimbledon are both in June. And then there's also collegiate championships for track and field, softball, and baseball. So it's a little bit of a slower sporting month. But again, there's so much going on outside. There's so many outside adventures that you can think about that. If you're a chiropractor, you're starting to create content about back pain from weeding your garden. You're starting to give ideas about stretching before you play volleyball for the first time. You know you need to do it. Don't hurt yourself again, okay? So honestly, that's what's going on in June, okay? Lots of random holidays. We're going into summer. Pride Month, important to think about. Juneteenth, important to think about. Send me cheese on National Cheese Day if you would like to be my friend. Hey, if you're looking for ways to build your foundational social media strategy skills, we've got a course for that. I worked with Adrian Harvey, who's the lead digital strategist at Spry, has a master's in digital media, and has worked in digital marketing for over 10 years to create this course. The course is called Social Media on Purpose, and it takes all of the lessons we've learned over our combined 24 years in the industry and distills them down into bite-sized lessons for you to enjoy. If you're interested, check it out at thinkspry.com/courses. Also, we're kind of cute and funny if that's important to you. For today's closing statements, I have a book recommendation for you. I just finished today Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. Brené Brown is one of those authors who I feel envious of. I kind of hate listening to her content because I love it so much. I wish that I'm the one that wrote it. I'm envious of her life and her career. She studies emotion. She's like an emotion scientist. And the end of this book has this whole framework that identifies different emotions, what they are, what they aren't, what people confuse them with, what they are a near emotion to versus a far emotion to, how they show up in your body. It's beautiful content. I wish that I wrote it. So you might as well go read it too. Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown. I hope you like it. So hopefully you enjoy that book, and I'll get over my envy eventually. Okay, probably my second time reading it through. I'll get over my envy. I'll have a snack and I'll be fine. Happy May. Get ready for your June content coming up. I appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much, and good luck getting your content ready. See you next week.
The Social with Lacey J podcast is brought to you by Spry Social Media Marketing, edited and produced by Chad Hinman, and executive produced by Lacey J. Fott.